Welcome in. It's another edition of Where the 99 Lead. It's a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville, where we talk about all things regarding the University of Pikeville. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and the program's title, Where the 99 Lead, to campus at the University of Pikeville, and also from campus into the community and into our region and into the world. Joined now by a special guest today, Linda Dunatov, Associate Dean of Student Affairs at the University of Pikeville, Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. Welcome in.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Great to have you. And first things first, we always like to talk with our guests about their information, their biographical information, where they came from, and how they arrived in Pikeville. So let's have some background.
Well, I'm originally from Seattle, Washington, and it was actually, I guess, different career positions that eventually brought me here to Pikeville, and very pleased to be here. I was most recently in North Carolina, and I had the pleasure of working at the graduate school at UNC Charlotte. And anyway, when this position became opened, it interested me, and here I am.
How long's that been? How long have you been in Pikeville?
It's almost 4 years now.
And from Pikeville to Seattle is a huge difference, I would imagine, geographically at least.
It is, but as we learned a few days ago, Pikeville has earthquakes too.
Yes. A little more common in Seattle.
Yes.
They don't happen often east of the Mississippi, and it's a big deal when they happen here. I think they're a little ho-hum on the West Coast.
I don't know. It depends on the size of it. Like with anything else, they still get your attention. Let's put it that way.
Associate Dean for Student Affairs, Kentucky COM, the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. Let's talk about what your responsibilities are as the Associate Dean.
Certainly. As the Associate Dean for Student Affairs, I oversee student issues, student policies, student services. And my office provides, it is responsible for medical school admissions,
sure,
also student financial aid, student records. We do student support services, as well as alumni services.
So much like a dean of student affairs in the undergraduate program, the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine, while these are aspiring physicians, they are college students.
Absolutely.
And the same type of services needed and the same type of help. You provide all of those things.
Oh, yes. Yeah, our goal is to help them be successful
Sure.
in their goal of, achieving a Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine degree.
Right. Let's talk about the difference between an undergraduate student and these students who already have their bachelor's degree. How different is the process? How different is your office than an undergraduate office of student affairs?
Well, I think the difference is really in what the students actually experience when they're in medical school. I'd say that if you had to compare the experiences, it's really it's amped up, and they are really experiencing a very concentrated program of learning.
Sure.
And so what that really does is it provides a great deal of pressure on them to essentially accomplish what they need to do, and to do it while also maintaining a balance in their lives. So it's, and then I'd say really this would be true of any medical student. I'd say it's very much a life-changing experience.
Absolutely.
And, and it really does demand their full attention. And what we tend to find is that for a number of our students, clearly we're dealing with the very elite, in terms of their academic accomplishments, as well as their potential, to be excellent osteopathic physicians. But we find that it also requires a different mode of studying very often, and particularly since they have to balance learning so much material, and also they are expected to learn at a higher level.
Sure.
So, that provides its own challenges.
Absolutely. Joined by Linda Dunatov, Associate Dean for Student Affairs at the University of Pikeville, Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. And, before we get too much further, we want to talk about the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine, Kentucky COM, if you will, and what the mission is. Let's remind folks what the mission of Kentucky COM is.
Certainly. Well, we have a very special mission, and it is to produce more primary care physicians who would then practice in our underserved areas here within Kentucky, as well as other areas. And so that really influences everything that we do.
How does it influence what you do?
Well, the first area that it really influences is how we admit people.
Sure.
What kind of individuals are we looking for who will really help us achieve our mission? And so clearly we look here first.
Right.
We look here in our own area, and for people who aspire to practice in those areas. We've been recognized nationally for what we have accomplished in rural medicine, and also the fact that our statistics show that our graduates are indeed returning to practice in our areas here within Kentucky. So we're very proud of those accomplishments.
How many medical students are admitted on a yearly basis now at the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine?
Well, that has been a significant change this past year. As you know, we have a brand new building that essentially has afforded us really a profound opportunity. And what it has enabled us to do, at least from the admissions standpoint, is we gained approval to increase the size of our entering class of students. So we moved from an entering class size that varied from 75 to 81 to 135. So it's been a significant increase.
Of course, the Cole building allows that to happen.
Absolutely.
And with 135 admitted, how many applications do you see come to the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine on a yearly basis now?
We get an enormous number of applications, and they've been on a steady increase. This past year, we received just under 3,000 applications for 135 seats.
Sure.
This year to date, we are averaging about 12 to 15% higher than the same time last year.
Wow.
So there's a great deal of interest in our school, and it means a lot of work for my staff.
The Cole building opened this summer, and I think the dedication in September.
Yes.
What is the impact on the Cole building meant for you and the Student Affairs Office at the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine, but for the school as a whole?
Well, as I already mentioned, a significant impact for our area was that it enabled us to increase the number of students that we actually enroll.
Sure.
So that's first. But also, it has provided, I'd say, a much improved resource for our educational program. We have improved facilities for the various areas of our curriculum, which are really quite outstanding.
Lots more space.
Yes.
And I know, of course, the entire campus shares the cafeteria,
Yes.
which has been a great addition to not just campus. So many of the students that I've talked to have been thrilled with the new cafeteria, but also members of the community able to interact with students and enjoy lunch there as well.
Right. Well, that's right. I think that with the Cole building being located where it is on campus, it does enable us to be constantly engaged with the campus community as well as our local community.
Sure. Space, what type of space additions have been gained? I've heard of some new technologies that are now available as well that have been added with the addition of the Cole building as well. And those things can't do anything but improve the students, improve the graduates that come through the medical school.
Well, I'd say a rather striking area where we've been able to realize some wonderful improvements in terms of the educational resources is in our clinic floor. There are a number of patient rooms that are there, and so that enables our students to learn, the art and craft of, diagnosing and treating patients, under the supervision of our faculty. But we also have, 2 robotic labs, so that they can use simulators to basically learn how, the different responses of the human body, to recognize them in terms of disease and so forth.
So robotics and then the clinic as well.
Yes.
And I know that's something that has used the human models, it's the standardized patients,
Yes.
but also a clinic for the community.
This is right. Frankly, I think that that's been a hallmark of what we do because it is a free clinic and it's offered 2 days a week.
Yes.
And really anyone from the community is welcome to come, and they are not charged for those services.
Sure.
And so it benefits our students because they get to practice, you know, the art of medicine and to basically learn how to become an osteopathic physician, but it also benefits the community.
Under direction, of course, of the staff and faculty.
Absolutely, yes.
It's a great community service, the free clinic at the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. Our guest, Linda Dunatov, Associate Dean for Student Affairs at the University of Pikeville, Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. We talked a little about the number of applications received. You weed through those, and of course, that's part of the process. Over 3,000 last year for 135 spots. It's incredible, and it has to mean that a highly select group of individuals chosen to be admitted on a yearly basis. How does Kentucky Com recruit students? How does the word get out and students send their applications and submit those?
Well, we do have staff who regularly go out to visit our area colleges and universities.
Yes.
We also go to various health career fairs, and but not just within Kentucky, within the local area. We go to professional meetings. It's basically getting the word out, interacting with potential applicants. But then we also, make visits to area high schools as well.
Sure.
Because of the other types of programs that we have been offering. And we are unique in the state in that we offer a PEP program for high school students.
Yes.
And this is the initials PEPP stand for Professional Education Preparation Program.
Okay.
And this is actually funded through the State Office of Post-Secondary Education. There are complementary programs that are also offered at the University of Louisville School of Medicine and University of Kentucky College of Medicine, but we are the only one that actually deals with the high school cohort. And the whole purpose is really to introduce them to the whole notion of health career, obviously with a focus on osteopathic medicine, but also really acquainting them with what is required of a successful applicant. And so as high school students, and most of the high school students that we enroll in our summer PEP program are rising seniors. In other words, they have just completed their junior year.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are beginning to think about college, and so this is just another way of basically expanding their horizons and hoping that they will think about entering a health career while they are in college, that they will go to college.
Sure.
But then that they will choose to pursue, a pre-med curriculum, and then hopefully come back and either apply to our school or another medical school.
So the recruiting process begins on the high school level.
Yes.
If a middle school student has a notion that they might want a career in medicine, they would love to be a doctor at some point, and they have the academic standing to do that, what type of classes should they take in preparation, even prior to their senior year of high school, but their entire high school careers? Should there be a certain focus?
Well, I'd say within high school, I think the focus from my personal opinion, I think it really should be a general focus,
Mm-hmm.
because you want your individuals educated in a broad area. And so, to cover the social sciences, obviously they're going to get a concentration in the sciences. They're going to get in both, say, the physical sciences, the biological sciences, and then the quantitative sciences like math, physics, and so forth. But I think you also want to have someone who knows about the arts,
Sure.
who's also knowledgeable about English, about literature, about history, geography, so forth. So I would really encourage high school students to really pursue that breadth.
A well-rounded individual.
Yes.
And a balanced education. You talk about a special program for high school students, the PEP program for high school
Yes.
students. What about for undergraduate students?
Well, we also offer, and it's in its third year, is the Osteopathic Medical Scholars Program. Mm-hmm. And so this is a program that really, for successful applicants, will provide them guaranteed admission into our medical school.
Wow.
And so the criteria to be eligible for consideration and for selection is that they are a graduate. Really, most of the applicants that we have looked at have been at or near the top of their class.
Sure.
There are some minimums that are required. One being a minimum of like a 26 in their ACTs.
Right.
And then that they have a GPA of at least 3.5. Most, I would say, of the applicants and students that we've enrolled have been even higher than that.
Yes.
And so if they then, and so the idea is that they would then be admitted into the University of Pikeville, and they would get their degree there. And they can get their degree in any area.
Sure.
It's not specified. However, they must meet the prerequisites of our medical school. And so that guides their, curriculum, of course, their selections. And then assuming, then of course, what goes with it is as long as they maintain a certain level of GPA, and then they also attain a certain minimum score on their MCAT, they would then be guaranteed admission into our school.
High achievers.
Yes.
In this group, I would
Yes.
imagine. And what a great benefit to be able to go into college as a high achiever with the test scores, with the grade point average, and obviously a goal of being accepted to the medical school. But if you arrive at the University of Pikeville, take care of business, get things done in the classroom, and then have the test score, automatic admittance to the medical school, it's a huge benefit for an incoming freshman.
It is. Now the program is small by design.
Sure.
We take in a maximum of 10 students each year.
10 students, how many would apply for that program typically?
It varies by year.
Okay.
I think that the highest that we had was like around 33.
Sure.
But the benefit is if we had just talked about the number of applications that we received
Right.
to our medical school, and so at least with this group, if they're able to, be successful college students and meet the criteria that have been established, they can jump that hurdle.
Osteopathic Medicine Scholars Program,
Yes.
OMSP.
Yes.
I've heard it before. That's for undergraduate students, PEP for the high school students. And those are some special programs available. Joined by Linda Dunatov, Associate Dean for Student Affairs at the University of Pikeville and Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. We focused on the med school today, and of course we're all of us in the community, loving the addition of the Cole building to our community and to the skyline, as Governor Patton, President Patton speaks of. Those are some special programs. Let's talk about Kentucky Com students in general. Who are they, and how do they spend their time at Kentucky Com?
Well, our medical students are absolutely delightful. We have 373 this year,
Right.
in all 4 years of our curriculum. And I'd say half our student body comes from Kentucky.
Right.
And some not very far away, and so they're easily recognizable. But our students, and I'd say over the last 3 years, we've had 2 classes now that have actually been admitted with a majority of women in the class.
Interesting.
Yeah, and one is actually the entering class for this year.
Yes.
And so, I think really what that indicates is that, the interest is really, pretty equal out there in terms
Right.
of aspiring, to become a physician. And but they are very busy.
Yes.
And, they're in class most of the day. Some days they may only have half days of class, but they're not finished then. They then, have to, go spend the rest of the evening studying, and And what I really admire about our students is that they really, most of them really do seek to maintain a balanced life.
Yes.
And so that they can have some recreation, that they can really, take care of themselves in all dimensions, mind, body, spirit. It's not just a focus, on their mental capabilities, but that they are taking care of themselves because of the high stress that they're being subjected to, really, with the demands of the curriculum. A number of our students are married, some have children,
Yes.
and some of our students are older. Some have come back to medicine as a second career.
Sure.
So I am greatly in admiration of their tenacity and their dedication and commitment to want to do this.
Of course, some are just out of an undergraduate program,
Yes.
and they're not that far removed from a typical college student that you see on the main
Yes.
campus at the university.
Yes, I would say that particularly for a brand new student, just as you would see with a brand new first-year undergraduate student, a freshman, a first-year medical student is also going to be going through a good deal of adjustment and, with their transition into a professional program.
You talk about the admissions, you talk about the majority of students being from Kentucky. Where do the other, say, let's take a look at this year. Now, I don't mean to put you on the spot. You may not have this number, and I'm not looking for a specific number, but other areas that students incoming this year, where do they come from?
I'd say by and large, they come from our surrounding states.
Central Appalachia.
Yes, and then there's even beyond that. I'd say this year in our entering class, we have over 20 states represented.
Wow, a great mix. And,
yes, but the bulk of them are from our area.
Right. The recruiting focus for students to the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine, you talk about the health fairs and other colleges, the undergraduate colleges that are visited and recruited. What type of area is covered in recruiting?
Well, clearly we begin here in Kentucky, and then we go out again to our surrounding states. So it really kind of mirrors the students that we are admitting in terms of where they are from as well. And little by little we're getting farther and farther out there, but our focus is still on our home.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where the 99 lead.
That is right.
Truly back into the world and growing throughout the country is the knowledge of our country, of the University of Pikeville, Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. Linda Dunatov, Associate Dean for Student Affairs, our guest from the University of Pikeville, Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine, and we can't help but talk about the Cole building. The community has fallen in love with the building and what it's added to the community, to downtown Pikeville, but to the campus as well. And the students, we've fallen in love with it. What about the students at Kentucky Com?
I would say that they love it. For one thing, they have more space.
Yes.
Now we have 9 floors within the building, and so one of the things that we took care to do when we were involved in the design of the building was to include students' study spaces.
Yes.
And so what we find is, yes, there are students who will study in those designated spaces, but students also have learned to really spread themselves out throughout the building, to use even some of the classrooms, for their studying. And so I'd say that that's been a huge benefit. They also have, we have a student lounge that was named after our founding dean, Dr. Stroh-Snyder.
Sure.
And it's called Stroh's Place.
Yes.
And so that's kind of a combination area. I mean, it holds the office of the Medical School Student Government Association. It has study carrel space, but it also has a pool table.
Yes.
And the pool table was Dr. Stroh's personal pool table. So, it has that kind of a connection, but believe it or not, our students do use it. And I'm told that they use it more right before, some of their major exams. It's a great stress reliever.
I can imagine. Of course, the student lounge, we've talked about robotics that have been added.
Yes.
The clinical space as well, the free clinic that's open to the public, classroom space, study space, faculty, staff offices also located in the building. How's that change been for the staff?
I haven't heard any complaints, with that regard. I think that it's improved really the resources that we've had, to, help us do our jobs better. But, there are some other things, though, in terms of the educational spaces, too. And the top floor of our building is a lab for teaching the osteopathic principles and practices.
Yes. That's
where our students actually learn how to do osteopathic manipulative medicine.
Right.
That's really the hands-on medicine.
Yes.
And so...
And I'm a big fan, by the way.
Okay. Yes, it really works.
It really works.
And the benefit of it now is the fact that even with our larger class size, the class can be taught as a single unit.
Yes.
We don't have to divide it up as we did before. So, so that's been a real asset. And also with our gross anatomy lab, that's dedicated to a floor, and also with the size of the instructional space that's available for teaching the lab sections, that also can be done with the entire class.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's been a great addition.
Yes,
I know. Just able to spread wings a little bit, but maybe allow the students more room to spread their wings, and better services, obviously, when you can have a lecture and have the entire class involved rather than dividing it. It's been nothing but a benefit, and thanks to the folks that made that building possible. What a great addition.
Yes, and and you had mentioned the clinical education resource, but another important factor, yes, it has the computerized robotics, the simulation labs, but it's also the patient rooms have been designed with really state-of-the-art resources, so that students are also learning to work with the electronic medical record as well.
Yes.
In how they make patient notes and so forth. It's all computerized.
And patient rooms with the human models, the standardized
Yes.
patient. Also, there's a lot of video involved,
Yes.
and I understand that can be used as a teaching tool as well.
Absolutely.
Students can
It's
go
great.
back.
Yes, it's great for providing feedback to the students.
Sure. They can learn a little about bedside manner.
Yes.
In addition as well. Of course, we were there for the building dedication. We were there for the groundbreaking, and I understand there's another special day coming up this fall for the Cole building, and that's the fall open house. When is that, and what is the event? Who's it open to?
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. That's actually going to be Saturday coming up, November 17th.
Yes.
And it's from 2 to 4 p.m. in the Cole building. And this is an open house for potential applicants. And we would encourage anyone who is considering the possibility even of a medical education to come to hear our administrators and faculty speak, have the opportunity to interact with our students, but also to tour the building and see the facilities up close and personal.
Sure.
We'd love to talk with them. So really, I'd say anyone, and I would include, potential students,
Right.
but also their family members and faculty who are advising pre-med students so that they can learn more about what we do and who we are.
And check out our state-of-the-art building.
Absolutely.
Linda Dunatov, Associate Dean for Student Affairs at the University of Pikeville, Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. The open house coming up on Saturday the 17th. We look forward to that. And we look forward to another incoming class. I know you'll be hard at it.
Yes.
With applications already, a bump in the number of applications
Yes.
received, and we appreciate all you do for the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. Perhaps there's someone tuned to this program, a high school student or an undergraduate student who may have med school on their mind, something they would like to explore and they would like to learn more about the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. Who should they contact, and how could they get the information they need?
I think the place to begin would be with our medical school admissions office. And so they could access that on our UPike website, under the link for Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. But any of our staff there would love to speak with them about their interests, answer their questions, and also they would be invited to come for a tour if they would like to do that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Great information today. Great having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Linda Dunatov, Associate Dean of Student Affairs with the University of Pikeville, Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine, our guest on this edition of Where the 99 Lead. I'm Andrew Joyce. Thanks for tuning in.